All right, guys, it's Jesse. Welcome to The Common Man. Today we are doing something a little bit different than normal. Today we are going to be highlighting our local election candidates. We're starting off today with Larry White. He's running for city council at large. He's going to give you a little 5 or 10 minute spiel about who he is, a little bit about his background, and why you should vote for him. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Larry. All right, Larry, go ahead.
All righty. Thank you. I want to thank you for having me here because it is important for people to understand our local candidates, their background, so they can vote from a position of knowledge, as I like to say. Well, getting back to me, my name's Larry White. I am a retired chemical engineer. I've worked in industry for over 40 years as a chemical engineer. I have a strong background in environmental control. I worked a little bit as an environmental engineer dealing with EPA and state agencies and getting a very understanding of how pollutants impact our environment. I've lived in Corpus Christi for about 35 years. I'm married and have 2 stepchildren and 5 grandkids. I'm active in the community. I've been involved with the Ethics Commission with the city. It gives me a little background of what's going on at City Hall. And I've also been on the City Transportation Advisory Council. Professionally, working as an engineer, I've been involved with the Texas Society of Professional Engineers. I am a licensed engineer. Been a past president of the local chapter of the Society of Professional Engineers, and a few years ago I was named Engineer of the Year by the Nueces chapter, which was very nice. As I had mentioned to you earlier, I've been in the Coast Guard Reserve, which was actually I spent a little bit of my active duty here in Corpus Christi. Got a little familiar with the Corpus Christi ship channel. From the water side, the other activities I've been involved with in community activities is I've been a buckerator for about 10 years, a little more. You know, the guys in the white jumpsuits helping the parade and dealing with the people. I was one of them, and it was very enlightening to get to know and understand a lot of the people who go to these parades. Always had a good time with them. It was always very, very enlightening. And I'll tell you though, give those buckerators credit. Putting on that night parade's a lot of work, a lot of tedious work, a lot of frustrating work, but they do a good job. So if you do go, be sure to appreciate what they've done. I've been a volunteer for Kairos Outside. For some of you who don't know what that is, that's where they do for women who have loved ones in prison. It's kind of a get-together to help them out, and I volunteered for that, and that was very enlightening on seeing another side of our society I normally don't get exposed to, and I learned a lot from the ladies at Kairos Outside. Been involved with Math Counts, which is a program to help junior high school students learn about math and get them interested in math. Excuse me, I'm an engineer. I'm kind of partial to math. It's a very important skill to have to be able to make it in life, and I've worked with that. The other things I've been, people talk about desal. Well, I was on the first Desalination Citizens Advisory Committee back in 1995. So I've been following it for about 25 years, and it leads me to some conclusion. And as an engineer with background in that technology, it helps me understand what's the best route for Corpus Christi to go. I was also on the Citizens Advisory Panel in 2006 for the New Harbor Bridge. Excuse me, I'm an engineer. I like trying to get into these things that are kind of technical because I talked to a lot of the engineers, some of the engineers involved in planning for the New Harbor Bridge, and got to talk some technical stuff on how the costs were going and how they're planning to do their project management, that sort of thing. But on the other side, I have a musical side, believe it or not. I play drums. I'm in the Veterans Band of Corpus Christi. I play the snare drum. I'm also in, I don't know if you've heard about, but Corpus Christi, believe it or not, has a bagpipe band. with kilts and everything.
That's awesome.
We don't have very many gigs, but I'm involved with that. I play the bass drum. But the one I enjoy the most is I'm in a little group with my wife and another couple, and we do folk type music in our little band. It gives me an opportunity to play music with my wife. And lately, at that little group, we've been doing some serenading because of this COVID-19. People can't get out, so we've had a number of invites where we've gone and serenaded a couple in their front porch on their anniversary. I think we've done 4, and we're going up for 5, and that's been very enlightening and fulfilling, trying to bring some loving happiness to people on their anniversary during this COVID stuff. The thing I want to talk about is I'm running for council as to why to vote for me, and I got to go back. I'm an engineer. I think like an engineer, and in my line of work, I'm conditioned to look at all sides of a problem. I have to look at all sides of the problem with an open mind. I'm conditioned that I have to be truthful. And most importantly, in my line of work, I must not mislead people. You know, misleading, that's getting people to believe a lie without having to lie. I'm conditioned or trained, however you want to call it, because as a chemical engineer, if I did anything other than that, some people would get hurt. And I try to emphasize that I'm very focused. I automatically look at all sides of an issue with an open mind. In ethics and politics, when I got involved with, I'm very familiar with the ethics, having been on the Corpus Christi Ethics Commission for 5 years. Believe me, that was an education on what's going on at City Hall. Trust me when I say politics is very dirty. I mean, really dirty, and it is very depressing or frustrating on seeing how some things go in our political system. And I'm trying to, and I think you've put on there that I want to encourage you to go to my webpage, Larry White, votelarrywhite.com, because I've put in a lot of work to try to show you who and what I am. So, and I urge you to do the same with other candidates, to local candidates, to learn as to who and what they are. So when you go vote, you'll be in a position to vote for the best person. But I want to get down, I'm going to finish up, is some people might ask why I'm running. Well, quite frankly, I'm running because I'm frustrated. People talk about our streets. I knew about 19 years ago we were going to be in trouble with our streets. I was talking to the city engineer in charge of streets, and when he found out I was an engineer, he really unloaded on me his frustration with the city council because they wouldn't let him properly maintain the streets. And I distinctly remembered, I said to him, man, in 15 or 20 years, our streets are going to be really crappy. And this was about 19 years ago. I talked to another city staff person, and when he realized I was involved with projects, he kind of unloaded on me again on how city council members were pressuring him to award multi-million-dollar projects to their city council, the city council's buddies. He was very frustrated when he told me that. And I guess the last thing I want to talk about on frustration that kind of really got to me is that a few years ago I was talking to a local public relations advertising firm. I was in their office for some other business, and I noticed they were running a campaign for a city council member. And I asked the person, how much, now I want to word this carefully because there's a big meaning here. I asked, if you run for city council, about how much do you spend on a campaign? What do you normally say? And the answer I got was, to get elected, it costs $87,000. Think about it. And that wasn't the question I asked, but I got the answer that I probably needed to get. And that's why I'm running for city council. Is we got to change this. And as an engineer, I know the questions to ask when we talk with technical stuff, with desalination, streets, sewers. Sewers is a big deal. I haven't gotten into that, but I think I've talked enough. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in, Larry.